All right, we've got Ken Asogwa here with us. He is the Senior Special Advisor Media to the Interim National Chairman of the Labour Party, that's Senator Nenadi Usman. Good morning and Happy New Year to you. Thank you for coming on today.
Good morning, Chamberlain. Good morning, Kayla. Good morning, Nigerians, and Happy New Year.
Yeah, we're going to talk about politics, of course, but what is going on? Because at the moment, first of all, we'd like to clarify, who is in charge of Labour Party? Who's the chairman of Labour Party? Because on the courts, in INEC platform, we see Julius Abure, and then we see Nenadi Usman, interim national chairman. So what's going on?
Thank you. I think that is a good starting point, because we need to clear who is chairman before we progress to the next thing. The truth is that on the 4th of April last year, the Supreme Court, in a landmark judgment that was clearly unambiguous, stated that Julius Abure's tenure had long elapsed. And the person who brought that appeal to the Supreme Court was Senator Nenadi Usman, who was the appellant. And the Supreme Court, in closing that judgment, they said that this appeal is hereby allowed. When appeal is allowed, it means that your reliefs sought are granted by the courts. So she is the national chairman of the Labour Party. That is not in question. Now, there was a later judgment that reconfirmed that judgment of the Supreme Court. Ordinarily, that judgment shouldn't have been reconfirmed, but it's only in Nigeria that the Supreme Court gives judgment, and somebody goes back to the Federal High Court to litigate what the Supreme Court, the final court in Nigeria, has ruled on. Now, on the 15th of August, in an application brought by this same Julius Abure against INEC, the Federal High Court in Abuja ruled that Julius Abure was no longer the chairman of the Labour Party on account of the Supreme Court judgment of 4th April 2025. So it is not in doubt, it is never a matter of controversy who is the national chairman of the Labour Party. The national chairman of the Labour Party is Senator Nenadi Usman. Now, let me come to why his name is on the INEC portal. And
INEC says by court order.
Yeah, that court order was a court order that he got as far back as 2022. So it's not a recent court order. The name has
not
always
even
been
2024.
there. No. It's always been there. It's always been there. So it's not a recent court order, but his name has been there since. So because of this whole controversies created, INEC just left it that way, waiting for the whole thing to be cleared for them to upload the next name.
Why is Nenadi's name why is her post interim national chairman?
It is interim because the convention of the party has not taken place. So the name, it was the final authority of every political party is the NEC, apart from the national convention. So the NEC of the party met after what happened in Umaya, where she was appointed as the chairman of the National Caretaker Committee. Then the NEC of the party met on 19 July in Transcorp in Abuja here, and now changed the nomenclature of her position from the National Caretaker Committee to the interim national chairman of the Labour Party, pending the national convention that will produce a substantive chairman.
Now, you said that that court order was in 2022, but just this year, and I think we had a conversation about it when it happened, when INEC called for a meeting of the national chairman of political parties. For the Labour Party, it was Julius Abure that was there.
Yes.
And then Nenadi Usman wasn't there, and they didn't send him out. They didn't say, no, sir, we go out. No. Yes. He was there, and he was discussed. And since then, INEC hasn't changed his name from their portal.
Yeah, I need to address that. You see, when Professor Mahmoud Yakubu was the INEC chairman, Julius Abure attended such meeting. It's a quarterly briefing that INEC chairman always has with leaders of political party. He attended that meeting and he was literally thrown out by Professor Mahmoud Yakubu's leadership. Now, when Mayor Agbamuche came as acting chairperson, pending the nomination by the president of the substantive person, she had such a similar meeting and invited her.
Invited him.
Invited him. And if you remember, we rose against that. And she anchored her reason on a certain judgment that they said Julius Abure obtained from a high court in Gwagwalada. Now, we know that INEC is a national body, is a federal institution. And according to Section 251 of the Constitution of Nigeria, the only court that has jurisdiction to attend to matters concerning any federal institution is the Federal High Court. Then he went on a forum shopping in a Nasarawa High Court and said he got a judgment there. That is one. But we are in courts already now, with including both INEC and Julius Abure. And by the special grace of God, this January, the court will pronounce again on this matter.
I remember
I believe this will put paid to some of these things.
Because the conversation around the time was that, it wasn't a meeting where they just told people to come. Invitation letters were given. And INEC At the time, Mayor Agbamuche was the one who was, and the letter was given to Julius Abure, not to Nenadi Usman, which was very instructive. It made everyone start to wonder, okay, well,
no. There was an omnibus letter by INEC. INEC didn't write personally to every leader of the political party. It was an omnibus letter written to all chairmen of political parties.
Okay.
So Abure intercepted the one meant for Labour Party.
He intercepted it?
Yes, he intercepted it and found himself there.
How did he intercept it?
Well, I don't know, but there were some fifth columnists that enabled him to intercept the letter.
Okay, so you spoke about the one in 2022. What about the decision in 2024? Because that was claimed to have been gotten from Abuja by Justice Herman Barker. What about that particular case that affirmed him as chairman? That's Julius Abure.
Well, I don't know about that judgment, but even if that judgment, I've told you about Supreme Court judgment of 2025 in April that invalidated whatever position he's claiming. So if there was a, that was the judgment that Nenadi Usman appealed against. Sorry. The 2024 judgment you are making reference
that
to.
Affirmed him.
That affirmed him. There was appealed to by Nenadi Usman.
April 2025.
Yes, that was the judgment. That was the judgment that Supreme Court now gave judgment on April 4th, 2025. First of all, they went to Court of Appeal. Court of Appeal affirmed his position. Then Nenadi progressed up to the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court now said that the convention that returned him that took place in Nnewi, that purportedly returned him, was an illegal convention. That Julius Abure is no longer the chairman of the Labour Party. It was clearly stated.
In other words, the one you say is in court now, and hopefully, did you say January?
Yeah, this January.
Month.
Yeah.
So when that decision comes, is it expected to be the final decision on this matter?
Well, because it is federal, I don't know. It's because I don't know.
They'll
know
still
how.
go back to Supreme Court.
I don't know how.
Whoever loses will appeal.
I don't know how the judgment is going to pan out. So let me not preempt the court or preempt whoever is the loser or the winner of the case. But all I know is that there is a judgment coming up on the 19th of this month, and appeals are not automatic. It depends on whether the party who lost is willing to go on appeal.
Explain to me this dynamic I'm seeing from your party right now. You've lost Peter Obi. He has moved to ADC. But you're the Nenadi Usman, and I don't know if I should call you a faction. We don't know what to call you.
There's no faction there, but go on.
Your own led parts of the Labour Party are celebrating the fact that he has joined the ADC. I don't understand that.
We did not celebrate his departure.
Okay.
If you read my speech, I was one that authored that statement.
Yeah.
If you read it clearly, we said that it was more or less like respecting his decision. He has the right of association. And we said that, we went further in that statement to state that even though it is regrettable that he has left, that we will sit down, the entire statutory organs of the party will sit down and chart a new course for the party. We are not celebrating his departure. Nobody celebrates the departure of people from your political party. But you know what? I see a silver lining to his departure for the party.
Tell me about the silver lining.
The silver lining is the fact that there are people who have decided to foist anarchy on Labour Party because of Peter Obi's presence there. They feel that they don't want him to operate on that platform because they feel there is a potential platform for him to become the president of Nigeria. So they sponsored Julius Abure and his people to ensure that they make it hot for him to come out under that platform. So now that he has decided to leave, so the people who are funding the fifth columnists who have been doing all these things, they should cease the funding so that they can leave us to reclaim our party and rebuild it. And that's what we are doing now. We just unveiled a revalidation and re-registration process that began on 17th of this December. It is headed by the Deputy Governor of Abia State, and that process is ongoing. That exercise is ongoing.
Will you get
and it's seamlessly going on well.
Will you get a candidate for the Labour Party to be your face in the next elections?
Well,
or will you be supporting?
I don't think
because it's a very interesting dynamic where we have people from one party supporting a candidate from the other party. Is that where we're going now? Will you be supporting people?
Well, I know that.
ADC
I know that political
parties.
I know that there are alliances are allowed in political process like this. But like I said, I can't sit here and determine for the party what will be done going forward. When that time comes, I'm sure the party will sit to take a decision on that.
What about those who think that Labour Party, at the end of the day, having lost him and lost Senator, you may also lose the Abia State governor?
You've also lost Iweti Kingibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've lost a couple of senators as well. You see, where I don't know what's going forward for Abia governor. But as I speak to you here, I think he granted an interview just about 3 days ago to state that he is still in Labour Party and that he will be there to ensure that these things, some of these hiccups are cleared. So I don't want to preempt his next decision. As far as I know, the unveiling, the committee that I told you that's working to rebuild Labour Party is headed by the Deputy Governor of Abia State, His Excellency Ikechukwu Emetu. You understand? So he cannot be working to rebuild the Labour Party and at the same time you are departing. So
well,
for now,
politics, if he departs, somebody else will occupy that position.
Well, when that, but he said that when his whole efforts are put in and it doesn't work, then he will take a new decisions for himself. So for now, he's a member of the Labour Party and he's leader of the party. So I don't want to talk about what he has to. It's only him that can clear the air on the next move for himself.
When is your Congress?
The Congress is in February.
That's next month?
Yes.
Okay.
The Congress is in February. The Congress starts in February. That is from ward to local government to state, then the National Convention.
That is assuming nobody will go to court to challenge something.
Well, you don't take your decisions in political party in an assumption that somebody... You will do what you have to do, what the constitution of the party has enabled you to do. If someone rises from nowhere to challenge your decision, the court is there to state who has been.
But aren't you concerned that at the end of the day, having seen all of these cases that are lined up in the courts, if anybody is looking to say, let me come to Labour Party, they'll think twice and think, look, we don't know when this matter will end in court. So I'd rather be safe than sorry and go to another party and not come to Labour Party.
Your guests that left here cleared the air on what's happening in ADC. That there is a faction there that is in court. So there are always grievances in every political party. So anyone looking for a platform to contest election and you're looking for a political party where there are no litigations, then you probably may not get it in Nigeria because there are grievances here. The political party struggles is all about give and take. So it's
not just any kind of litigation. When the litigation is going to threaten the legitimacy and validity of your candidature, you have to think twice.
I must assure you, Chamberlain, that the problem in Labour Party was resolved as far back as April last year by the Supreme Court. And all these whole things, I've told you, the reason why some persons are trying to create doubts in the party is because they just wanted to create doubt so that Peter Obi will find it hot. Now that he has exited,
did you reach out to INEC?
I can bet you that now that Peter Obi has exited, this whole thing is quite
Did you reach out to INEC?
Because there's nothing else they are fighting for except him.
Did you reach out to INEC to tell them, see, Julius Abure is still the person on your website?
We have written to INEC on countless occasions, but this is not an avenue for me to put out an indictment against INEC. You understand? Even though the woman who acted briefly was the one who foisted some of these confusions we are getting.
There's a new chairman now.
We've written to the new chairman, and the bureaucratic process in Nigeria, I believe, is attending to our situation.
Okay.
I believe so. INEC is a responsible institution that has benefited so much from Nigerian courts, from the judiciary. And they cannot join the madness of Julius Abure in throwing the judgment of the Supreme Court of Nigeria under the bus. INEC won't do it.
But to be clear, you've written to the new INEC chairman and complained.
Yeah, sure, we've done that. We've done that.
No response yet.
No, I said that I'm pretty sure that they are attending to that.
Okay.
I know.
Well, that's the politician in you being optimistic. So INEC will not say, oh, but you want to spoil, okay.
Don't worry.
But no problem. We understand that dynamic. So, okay, Nasogwa, after all, he's a special advisor, senior special advisor on media for that matter, to the interim national chairman Labour Party. So he won't want to put sand in the gary of the party and everybody who's trying to get the things done. So thank you for coming on and we wish your party all the best.